Hi LS6 students, it's Mrs. Shomura-Takata. I'm going to go over the notes for the cardinal directions and the intermediate directions in your social studies composition book. Okay, but before we get started, I want to have you go back and look at the oceans. I had the students actually outline the different continents, and we did that for the continents of the world as well. But I felt like today in class, and I made the video before, today in class, that it would be helpful for students to see where the continents are in relation to the ocean. So so I had the students outline in one color North America, and then South America, and then Europe, and then Africa, and then Asia, all of that, Australia, and then Antarctica, so that students would be able to see, okay, the Pacific Ocean is to the west of North and South America, but to the east of Asia. Okay, so I just can pause to look at this. I just think it'll be more helpful. All right. So today, though, we are going to move on to cardinal directions, and we're going to be filling out information on here. So cardinal directions, on that page, I want you to, and I'll show you in just a second, I'm going to want you to write these notes on some of the lines around the part that you glued down. So the first thing, cardinal directions are the four main points of a compass and are considered to be the most commonly used form of directions. So this is it's a compass rose, but it just has the cardinal directions. So the four cardinal directions are north and south, east and west. So as you can see on this page, I actually just spelled out north. There was an N there. I spelled out south, I spelled out west, and I spelled out east. So you can just go ahead and write that as well. Okay. So people use this to help them navigate when they're trying to get somewhere. And it's like you wrote down as your definition, they're considered the most commonly used form of directions. And so I want to just kind of go over some ways that maybe you can remember the directions. So in a compass rose like this, if you read this clockwise, like the way you would read an actual clock, the time, it'd be N, E, S, W. Now, perhaps when you were in elementary school, you learned about this, and your teachers might have told you a way to remember the directions, and the order, if you're thinking of it as a clock, would be never eat soggy waffles. The N in never stood for north. The E in eat in that phrase stands for east. The S in that phrase, soggy, stands for south. And the W in that sentence, never eat soggy waffles. Waffles was here, but it stood for the direction west. So if you could use that to remember, that would be great. Okay. Some other notes I'd like you to kind of put, in addition, I have the acronym written here, NESW, never eat soggy waffles. What you need to know is that the N, north, it always points to the North Pole. So wherever you're at, if you have a compass and it's pointing north, that direction is the North Pole. Okay? Conversely, opposite, the south point is always pointing to the South Pole. Okay? To help you remember east and west, you can remember that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Okay? Now I have to tell you, sometimes I still kind of get confused about this, but I think about the Disney movie Beauty and the Beast. And there is a famous song, maybe you don't know it, but perhaps your parents do. And there's a phrase in that song, certain as the sun, rising in the east. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. But I always remember that phrase, certain as the sun, rising in the east. So that song stays in my head, and it reminds me that the sun rises in the east, which means that it sets in the west. So that might help you remember. Okay, so go ahead and copy these notes down as well. So remember that north always points to the North Pole. East is where the sun rises. South is always pointing to the South Pole. And west is where the sun sets, where the sun goes down. Okay? Now the next page are the intermediate directions. So as you can see on this is also a compass rose. It just has some additional kind of long spokes. So we have our north, south, east, and west. But in addition, we have these diagonal directions. Okay? So it looks a little different than this original compass rose. The diagonal directions tell you intermediate, in between directions. So between north and east, the direction is northeast. Between north and west, the direction is northwest. Between south and west, the direction is southwest. And between south and east, the direction is southeast. So go ahead and pause and copy these down. Okay? Even the fact that this is a compass rose, you can jot that down as well. Today you are going to be doing a couple of worksheets that involve knowing the cardinal directions as well as the intermediate directions. Okay, so I'm going to have to pause for a second. All right, pause it. Okay, I'm back. So this is going to be the worksheet you will be doing today. So this is the front side and this is the back side. Okay, so it's a two-sided worksheet. The first one is following map directions, and the directions say, using a pencil and ruler, follow the directions below and connect the dots with lines. After each move, fill in the name of the ocean or continent on which each dot is located. There's a typo right there. Okay, so you'll see all of these different dots, and it'd be good maybe to highlight them. So I'm going to highlight them all right now, and just so that you can see them. And then you're gonna start at the star here. So this is what your paper should look like. You can go ahead and highlight so you know that you're going to get everything. So the directions say, number one, start at the star on Antarctica. So that is this spot here. And then it says move 3.5 inches north. So you're going to take a ruler and measure 3.5 inches north. So I hope you know that north is up. And then you are going to find that dot and connect it. And then it's asking you, you are on the continent of, you're going to have to look up in your composition book, or if you know it from your brain already, the name of the continent and write it here. And then after that, you're going to continue to follow. I would recommend you do this in pencil. Do the lines in pencil. Okay? Try to keep it safe, clean and neat. If you make a mistake, erase well. Okay? And don't press so hard on the pencil so that it makes it hard to erase. So you're going to just follow these in order. Okay? Now the back side. This is pretty much cardinal directions. This side is where you are going to be doing the intermediate directions. Okay? So using compass directions. And for this one, you will also need a straight edge, actually. So it says, study the compass directions on the puzzle below. They are the same as those you will find on most maps. It is important to understand the compass directions on a map in order to read it correctly. On most maps that you use, north is at the top of the page, south is at the bottom, west is on the left, and east is on the right. Follow the directions below and connect the dots with lines. If you do the puzzle correctly, you will finish with a picture of one means of transportation. Okay, so if you look very carefully at this paper, you're going to see that there is a north, there is south, there is east, and there is west. But it also has the intermediate directions saying northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. Now those lines will be diagonal. Okay? So you're going to follow this order. Do you see how it's numbered? 1 all the way to 20. Okay? You're not going to want to skip any of them. You're going to want to do each one in this order. And when you've done it, maybe you should just put a slash through it so you don't get confused. So it says begin at the star, which is right here. And then it says move 1 space southwest. So what direction is southwest on this paper? It is that diagonal. So you would connect this to that dot. Again, I recommend you use pencil, because if you make a mistake, this is going to become a hot mess real quick if you're using a pen that you can't erase. Okay? So, I hope this helps you and you're going to be following this direction. I just want to warn you, if you make a mistake on this part, chances are your picture's going to end up looking really confusing. So try your best to just follow the directions, count the dots, pay attention to the directions, okay? And then we'll be going over the answers later. Okay, thanks. Bye.